You're watching Pyro Media Network.
Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We hope your experience is fruitful. Please feel free to visit our website to find out how you can join our growing family. While we are loading your experience, please do us a quick favor and hit that like button from whichever platform you're watching or listening on. Also, share so others may enjoy as well. And we hope you would consider hitting that subscribe or follow button so you can check out more of our amazing content. Alright, let's start the show.
Christian ain't good with forgiving, ain't turning my cheek, now I'm raising that pistol. Lord, forgive me. With all my prayers, with all my strength, with all my pain, I'm fighting this war. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. No turning back, 'cause I'm free.
Hey, spread the word to my people. That spirit fell on me, told me fight against the evil, not turn. Not turn that. Fuck the sticks now, nigga, got burners. Hold up, hey, spread the word to my people. Got spirit fell on me, told me fight against the evil, not turn. Not turn. We in the sticks, now we all got burners. Hold up, hearing voices in my head say I need to be.
Welcome to Dirty Laundry with your boy KO. Here we pull no punches and dive head first into the challenging conversations that our community needs to have, from economics, inner city violence, religious fanaticism, and of course, white folks and everything in between. We tackle the issues that shape the Black experience with courage and a vision for growth. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. Some conversations are going to get messy, but hey, that's why we do laundry. We wash it, we rinse it, and we rebuild, because it's our duty to reclaim and control the narratives that are associated with our experience. So with that, welcome to Dirty Laundry, y'all. Let's start this pre-wash with Kwame Speaks.
My brother. What's going on?
What's good? What's the word? What you got hot for me this week?
Man, listen. All right, so
I'm telling
first
you,
up, we got a couple of
things.
we got a couple of things. I didn't bring you too much because there's a lot going on in this world. But first up, we got to bring up. I forgot to update that. But hopefully that happens. But him, all right. So as you guys know, the y'all's president and this administration has went ahead and tried to limit the SNAP availability for people. There was an attack on the SNAP benefits and food stamps that our ancestors, our grandpas and grandmas fought for. The original Black Panther Party, created. Just wanted to throw that out there. But one of the things that was in there was that one of the things that popped up on today is that a federal judge has blocked the Trump administration from banning SNAP benefits from using, or SNAP recipients rather, from using benefits to purchase soda, candy, and other junk food in 5 states. In August 2025, the Trump administration allowed 6 new states to join 6 others in banning, quote, unhealthy foods from the $100 billion federal program. Now, at that time, the federal At the time, the U.S. Department of Agriculture announced that U.S. Secretary of Agriculture Brooke L. Rollins, joined by U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert F. Kennedy Jr., signed 6 new food choice state waivers to further advance Trump's efforts to make America healthy again. Maha, if you will. The six states. Yeah, okay. The 6 states sure. The 6 states included West Virginia, Florida, Colorado, Louisiana, Oklahoma, and Texas. Before this, Secretary Rollins previously signed waivers for Nebraska, Iowa, Indiana, Alaska, Arkansas, Idaho, and Utah. As of June 2026, the USDA has permitted a total of 23 states to implement the restrictions. The additional 11 states include Hawaii, Missouri, Nevada, Kansas, Montana, North Dakota, South Carolina, Wyoming, basically all red states. However, in March 2026, 5 states, Colorado, Iowa, Nebraska, Tennessee, and West Virginia sued the USDA, alleging the ban would destabilize food access for millions of people on food stamps. They also argued it complicates things for people with chronic illness to access food or drinks needed to maintain their health, i.e. products to manage blood sugar, etc. Ultimately, on Monday, Barack Obama appointed Judge Amy Berman Jackson ruled the Agriculture Department lacked the authority to approve the ban. The USDA, RFK Jr., and Rollins defended their effort and vowed to continue pursuing Maha.
Now, my question to you is this.
Mm-hmm.
Is that really a bad thing that we trying to keep our kids from buying snacks and stuff like that? It's like a blurred line. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, that's good.
No, I hear you.
Yeah,
no,
like
I completely hear you. However, the problem that comes into it is that these are supplemental assistance, right? This is to help with different or for communities that are, especially those who are under below the poverty line. The problem becomes is that I don't mind, working to make things healthier and whatever, but you, on one hand, 2 things that I have a problem with. On one hand, you're sitting there saying, oh, we need to, eat healthier and do healthier things, but then you are taking away protocols and policies that kept chemicals and certain chemicals that were going into our foods, and you're taking those away just so you can get those corporations to get money because you're in their pockets. So it's a catch-22. The second thing that I have a problem with is that not everybody has access to a Sprouts or a Whole Foods or anything like that. So they,
good point.
Some communities don't have those type of access. So you're limiting already what's limited to people who have limited resources. So I'm not saying that everybody should be on soda, because I gave up soda in 2019, 2018. So I haven't drank soda since that. I'll do sparkling water to get that fizz, but it's water, right? And so I don't do that high fructose corn syrup. So I get the need to be better health wise, but we can do, we don't have to, and then on top of that, if you limit certain things, what else can you limit if we're giving them that power? Don't tell me what I can do with my family. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, get diabetes if you want to.
right. So listen, Josh Hokett, who is the UFC fighter that went ahead and called Michelle Obama a man. We talked about that last week during that UFC fight. Refuses to apologize and does not regret calling forever First Lady Michelle Obama a man. He previously made headlines during Trump's UFC Freedom 2050 event held on the White House South Lawn on June 14th, after securing a technical knockout victory over veteran fighter Derek Lewis. Hokett turned his historic moment into a bashing session. Take a look at what he said.
I'm into like battle rap, maybe even some poetry, still.
And then you drop the Michelle Obama line. And I'm sitting there thinking like, why? Why did we have to go there? You're not going to fight with Michelle Obama. This is not a fight. This is not a planting of a seed like Alex Barrett.
I thought I was giving her a compliment.
I don't think anyone viewed
Michelle
it as such.
Michelle Obama being a man that's like, she knows how to deal with adversity. She knows how to work hard like a man, when the times get tough. You know, the
Why
tough
does that
keep
come to
going.
mind in that moment? Like you just got this massive win of all the things you can say. Why even go there?
I thought it was a perfect opportunity to, you know, show the world how great this country is with the freedom of speech. You know, you go somewhere and you say something like that and you die, you know, and I'm not suicidal, by the way. You know, I'm in good.
You know, I love when they pick and choose freedom of speech. I love it. Like it's just really irritating because it's free. Because had that been a UFC fighter that said that Melania Trump looked like a man, or Melania Trump, you know, was a whole, you know, a Playboy model and a hoe, then it would have been a whole situation, right? It would have been a whole problem. So they pick and choose when freedom of speech is applicable.
I agree.
But that's here nor there. Barack Obama, my forever president. Okay, he had some response to the latest that's been going on with y'all's president, with this ongoing fixation on him during a recent appearance on the All the Smoke podcast hosted by Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. Take a look.
I'd ask him what it is that
The obsession?
the obsession.
I know what it is.
I obviously, you know, have a room in his head.
Rent free. You do everything with grace.
A suite in his head. But the thing about it is that was always clear to me. Look, but first of all, when I was president, the last thing I had time to do was worry about what
Somebody said,
or what my predecessor did.
Mm-hmm.
They're gone. I've got work to do.
You locked in.
It's hard to describe how, if you're doing the job right,
Mm-hmm.
every day you've got 5-10 things that are real hard. And you have to be constantly focused. The idea that I'd be worrying about
Came before.
somebody who came before and me trying to measure, you know, like, what's he done today? Look, constantly worrying about that is a strange thing to me. It shows me somebody who's not focused on the American.
You know what that's called? That's called what they call big dick energy. You follow what I'm saying? You don't worry about what other people are doing. You don't worry about, because you secure in your own stuff. You feel me? I don't need to worry about what KO is doing on a day-to-day basis. KO don't need to worry about what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis, because we're not threatened by each other. You follow what I'm saying? We're men. You know, right. And we're not punk ass men. You feel me?
But we know, but we know what the fixation is on Black people, and this
absolutely.
This is why I do the shows that I do right now. This is why I'm doing this series, because I like to highlight certain things. So I'm glad you're bringing these topics to the forefront, because it's a good seasoning on the chicken before we eat it.
Yes.
So with that,
all right,
man,
brother, well, that's all I got for you, my man.
Thank you for the pre-wash, man. We put the soap on it. Let's go ahead and get into the spin cycle, dog.
All right.
Appreciate you, man. The Colonizer. Part 2. It's white in front of you. The Colonizer. It's white in front of you. I'm doing a series to show you how certain culture does certain things. See, race would be a trigger word for people. So it's the Colonizer. It's white in front of you. Run that clip, please.
It's racial. Well, expand. All right, bet. Now, check it out. The white ball dominates everything, right? Knocks the shit out the yellow ball, the red ball, right? And the game's over when the white ball drives the black ball completely off the table. Now, why is that?
I don't know, but I'm sure you tell me, my brother.
Sure, you right. Look, it's because of the white man's fear of the sexual potency of black balls. Now, that one was kind of interesting. That was interesting.
You see,
I see where you're going, and the food table is the earth. That's why it's green.
Oh, see, your shit is coming out now.
And the world, they used to think it was flat.
Screw him.
Hey, when you do the Oprah Winfrey show, I'm gonna be front row.
It's not about jokes. Me and him are here. It's not about.
That one was kind of deep. You went to the bottom of the ocean on that.
The Colonizer. It's right in front of you. Now, before everybody start clutching their pearls and saying, here we go again, another attack on white people, let's be clear about what we're talking about. We're talking about history, okay? We're talking about culture. We're talking about systems of power. And we're talking about the uncomfortable truths that many people would rather ignore. Now, I know some people are going to say, why are you making everything about race? We're all human species. And to a degree, I agree. We're all human beings. But if we're going to have an honest conversation, we can't pretend history doesn't exist. We can't act like race, as we understand it today, wasn't socially constructed and used to justify conquest, colonization, segregation, slavery, and exploitation. We cannot dismiss that. So one thing I intend to do is unpack in this series the difference between race and culture. Because while race is relatively a recent social invention, culture has histories. Cultures have histories. Hear me what I'm saying to you. Cultures leave footprints. Cultures shape institutions. And if we're going to understand where we are today, then we have to examine how certain systems of dominance became normalized across the globe. Just like how he was fixated on Michelle Obama. Everybody want to be a nigga, but don't nobody want to be a nigga. We're going to talk about this after we come back from commercial break.
The news is divided. Ground News puts it back together, with coverage from thousands of outlets around the world in one place. So you can spot sensational reporting, no matter what side of the political spectrum you're on. Beside every headline, you'll see who owns the source, how reliable it is, and if they have a political bias. Multiple perspectives side by side, giving you a well-rounded view of today's biggest stories. Visit ground.news to learn more.
Hey, it's Dr. Nicole D. Vick from Dr. Victorious, and you're watching Power Media Network.
Black mama still crying on TV. These young brothers still dying on TV. Crackers on the camera still lying on TV. 3% rappers might put it on the CD. And our leaders, most of them speechless. How you gonna preach when you ain't trying to reach us?
We're back. So like I promised you, with this series, we're going to be addressing the difference between race and culture. Because culture is something that we need to address. Race is a trigger word. People get sidetracked with the word race. It's racial. It's racial. Race is applicable to classism. For example, black is an adjective. It describes the noun. White is also an adjective. It describes the noun. But if we can look at the culture of a people, that will alleviate your perception of what race is and start looking at things more like a culture. Okay? All right. So check this video out.
Eventually, maybe you'll actually say when the teacher says Christopher Columbus discovered America and he met those Indians here. There were no Indians here when Christopher Columbus got here. There were people from Africa who had been here for over 10,000 years before Christopher Columbus was born. It's time for us to teach our children the truth.
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Like, everything is always co-opted and hijacked by a certain culture. Like I said, we're not going to talk about race. We'll just talk about the culture. Everybody knows that when Christopher Columbus came to this mass, this landmass, there were people of color here. Not Indians. Not what you consider Indians. The Moors conquested the world that we know it way before this was even a thing. But things are always taken from us because this particular culture always takes things from us, right? It's always feeding off of us. So Black people and people of color are constantly subjected to moral defamation in public square. We see it every day, and it has been commonplace throughout history. We watch people rush to conclusions about who is a criminal, who is dangerous, who deserves sympathy, and who doesn't. We see assumptions made before facts are fully understood. So I intend to examine the culture of colonialism and conquest and how it emerged from various European powers and how its legacy continues to shape modern institutions. It shapes economics, it shapes race relations and global power structures. I want to explore how colonization became normalized, how it affected African and indigenous peoples worldwide, and how many of its assumptions still exist today. So here are some questions I have for the audience and for the people that bought into the idea that America, the idea of America, but I'd first like to define the two terms for proper context. So here we go. Classism. Everybody runs from this word. If you are familiar with Bacon's Rebellion, classism is what started after Bacon's Rebellion because the elites didn't want people that looked like them, Europeans, other Europeans, to revolt against them. So they divided things into classism or into class. That's why you call Black, and that's why they are called white. So classism is prejudice. It's discrimination or oppression against individuals or groups based on the socioeconomic status. It involves treating people, hear me out, unfairly or making negative assumptions about their intelligence, their character, or worth based on their wealth, income, education, occupation, or social standing. Sound kind of familiar to you, Black people? Does it sound like a certain culture perpetuates that? Like, okay, she's a man, or all Black people are violent, or 13% of the population are committing the crimes, but they never take into consideration that intertribal wars happen all the time with people that look alike. For example, when the Germanic people got into it with the Romans, we didn't call that white on white crime. It was categorized as war. Is Black or white your actual color, or is it your classification? Think about what I'm asking you. Take notes. Racism, the second word that I want you to understand, because people, you have Black kids saying, oh, that's racist when they say something that has anything that seems racial attached to it. The suffix ist means you specialize in something. And from what I understand, Black people have never specialized in race relations or building systems that are oppressive to other races. Let's take the word race off. Other cultures. Like, for example, nobody went across the globe that's Afro-Asiatic and said, if you don't worship our God, we're going to kill you. That would be the Crusades. Nobody ever said that, when we come over here, you gotta do all our cultures the same. We like to keep our cultures intact so you can enjoy them from a distance. So racism is a belief or behavior or system that oppresses or disadvantages people based upon their race. Race is a new phenomenon. So I'm going to say based upon their culture, their ethnicity, or their skin color. It stems from the false notion that one race is inherently superior or inferior to another and can affect access to employment, housing, healthcare, and all that in between. You kind of see where this is going? Remember the title, The Colonizer. It's right in front of you, right? So here are the questions for the audience and for the people who's watching the show. If colonialism was truly about spreading civilization, why were so many colonized societies stripped of their land, resources, languages, and self-determination? For example, when they went into Africa, the African tribes and people got pushed into a certain area, and then they took over the landmass. And then they took their way of doing into the continent and said that they were going to civilize these savage people. The Mexican-American War. California, Texas, all the southern states were technically Spanish-speaking or what we consider Hispanic people. Why they get pushed to a certain spot and now it can't be theirs anymore. It's interesting, right? Take notes because it's going to get deep. All right. How do we distinguish? This is the second question. How do we distinguish between development and exploitation? When the wealth of many nations was built upon the labor and resources of colonized people. For example, when people say black people are lazy, and then people be like, oh my God, black people are some lazy motherfuckers, but we built this country for free. This country was established upon free labor. There was nothing more valuable than a slave. And ironically, is this ironic or was it by design? There were certain people who were the victims of chattel slavery. I know what you're saying. Like slavery been going on since the beginning of time, but not chattel slavery though. Chattel slavery is different. Question number 3. If conquest and territorial expansions are celebrated as achievements in many Western societies or Western histories, what does that reveal about the values that were rewarded, and normalized within those societies? For example, like, oh my God, can't you black people act civilized? I mean, like, how can I learn civility from an uncivilized society or culture who's always went and pillaged and taken from other people? That's like saying, don't murder, but we murder. Oh, didn't I say something in the beginning? Hey, black on black crime. Oh my God, these black people are savages, right? But intertribal wars happen all the time. And when they go to war, this culture goes to war, it's not called white on white crime. It's called war. I'm just saying, it's just, are the dots really, are you putting it, does anybody understand what I'm saying? I want you to ask yourself these questions as we go along. Okay, 4. This is my 4th question. Why are formerly colonized people often expected to move on from historical injustices, while the political, economic, and social benefits gained through colonization continue to exist today? Like, I do recall somebody saying like a insurrection thing is bill for people who was victims of the insurrection. They get like reparations, and then we repaired the Chinese. We gave them reparations. We gave the Jewish people. This is not anti-Semitism. This is the real thing. See, even that, you got to speak on that because that's weaponized. They get to talk about reparations, and we had nothing to do with that shit. As a matter of fact, Black people was fighting hard to go over there and fight Hitler on behalf of Jewish people. Anybody ever seen Officer and a Gentleman with Denzel Washington? Like, so these are like, hold on, while human beings, myself included, and other people are walking around with last names that don't even belong to them. Streets that you ride down every day got your oppression on the street. Institutions are named after people who oppressed you. Think about it. Your people who own slaves are on the back of your dollars. I mean, 90% of your people in politics are of a different culture, but somehow that doesn't matter. Number 5, my 5th question. To what extent do modern institutions, global wealth disparities, and racial hierarchies reflect the legacy of colonial thinking? Even after formal colonial rule has ended. Think about what I'm saying to you. It's the colonizer. It's white in front of you. It is actually white in front of you. Think about what I'm saying. You can be an accomplished person and people will do backhand compliments to you like, oh, you're really a credit to your race. As opposed to what? Oh, your children are well behaved. As opposed to what? Now, when I was talking about the things that we perpetuate as a culture, this is why I do dirty laundry, because I need to raise awareness so we can get back to claiming the narratives that are associated with us, right? For example, when somebody celebrates at a high school graduation, it's categorized as being lewd conduct by the society, the culture that we live in. Oh my God, I can't believe that they are not acting civilized. But if I recall anything, Black people always celebrated at graduations and functions where they made accomplishments. I mean, go look at African tribes. They dance, they drums, all kinds of stuff. But since you're looking at stuff through a certain cultural lens, you don't see that your culture is actually appropriate and it's being called inappropriate by somebody who's acted inappropriately. This is a very important thing that I need y'all to understand. If a culture repeatedly expands through conquest, controls resources through force, and rewrites the narrative to justify its actions, at what point do we stop calling it an exception and start asking whether it was a defining feature of their nature itself? Think about what I'm saying to you. What you calling sugar is actually shit, and you modeling your whole entire existence after somebody who has the mental fortitude of shit. Culturally, of course, not racially, but culturally. This is my disclaimer. I don't think that everybody who fits into the classification as a white person is not suffering some of the most deplorable conditions in this country as other people that are here. But what's unfortunate for white people, these people who fit into that classification, this system was set up for you. So as much as I can get to the top and be this grand, this credit to my race, some shit kicking ass person from that culture will always come through and say, at least I'm not a nigger. Play the clip.
Are you kidding me? Bring back real American halftime shows. We don't want Bad Rabbit and Lady Gaga. Bad Bunny, bro. You're embarrassing yourself. We're out 12 and this is what we get. Hey, chill. Unbelievable.
See what I'm saying? Do you get where I'm coming from? Culture, like trip off this. Did anybody pay attention to the outward like defiance to any other culture? Like, how audacious is this? This whole entire place at some point in the southern region belonged to Hispanic people. And we're not going to even get into why certain cultures in the southern region don't want to be don't want to be looked at as black. First of all of you get your culture from West Africa, right? So if we start looking at Mexican rice, that's jollof. Let's not play games. Some of your dancing rituals, like the things that you do is dancing, that comes from West Africa. All of your cuisine damn near comes from West African cuisine. So basically, all of these big heads and these big giant lips that are down there, all of this is Afro-Asiatic culture. But we're not gonna get into that. Did y'all forget that they wanted they had a whole different Super Bowl halftime show because they didn't want to see Bad Bunny? I'm just saying, like, look at how audacious this is. We took your shit and we don't never want to see you on this side again because this is the culture of certain people, not race. We're not going to talk about race. Race is a trigger word, but culture, right? So now it's time to check the facts. Let's check the facts for a second, shall we? So, first of all, we don't want to see Bad Bunny. We don't want to see none of that shit. This is America. Mexican-American War took all the Mexican people shit, and we don't want to see your ass. Okay, so the Mexican-American War was in 1846, between 1846 and 1848. The war began in 1846 after the U.S. annexed Texas, and a dispute arose over the Texas-Mexico border. Mexico ceded approximately 525,000 square miles of territory to the United States. The land acquired included most or all of present-day California, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, and parts of Colorado and Wyoming. You see where this is going? You get what's like when you think about redlining, just think about the culture and what's culturally, like what they do culturally, not racially, not skin color. Skin color is a new phenomenon. I'm talking about culture. So all these different states belong to the Mexicans. Yeah, I know. Those are spoils of war. But hey, we're talking about like what's barbaric and what's not. Okay. Mexico lost roughly half of its national territory. Tens of thousands of Mexicans living in those territories suddenly found themselves living under U.S. rule. Sound familiar? Does it sound like something that's familiar to a certain culture? Although the treaty promised property and civil rights protections, many Mexican landowners later lost the land through legal disputes, taxes, fraud, or violence. Think about this. Just think about this for a second. Was the Mexican-American War primarily about security and borders? Or was it a war of territorial expansion consistent with the idea of manifest destiny? Oh. See, when we start talking about the culture of a people, it kind of resonates. Like it sounds like somebody always taking somebody's shit. Like the term black fatigue. To those of you who use the term black fatigue, I would like for you to understand something. Black fatigue was first belonging to black people to describe their exhaustion with being oppressed by white systems. There's that word again, white. Okay, that's classism again. Cultural systems, certain cultural systems. Are we seeing a pattern? Okay, All right. Native American displacement. Not the Mexicans, the Native Americans. And then history gets hijacked, and then the Native Americans get called something else when they was miscegenated with Mongoloids, and like that's a whole thing on this. But I'm not gonna go there. I'm just gonna tell the facts. All right. Before European colonization, millions of indigenous people lived throughout the North America. The Indian Removal Act was signed by Andrew Jackson in 1830. The law led to forced relocations of tribes from the southeast to the lands west of the Mississippi River. So, you know, when your grandma be like, I'm Blackfoot, I'm Cherokee, I'm Choctaw, and what I am is Gullah Geechee. Our people was here already. The most famous removal was the Trail of Tears. Thousands of Cherokee people died from disease, starvation, and exposure during the journey. Yeah. It sounds like wait a minute, hold on. If we go to Africa, I'm saying colonization is kind of like, people think like, oh no, colonization is different. That only happened in Africa. But when I say the Delmar Divide, and I'm not even gonna do that with y'all. Clayton used to be, hold on for a second. Tulsa, yeah, hold on. Wait a minute, Rosewood, hold on. Lake Lanier, wait, hold on. There's a certain thing that cultures do. All right, let's keep going. By the late 19th century, Native peoples had lost the vast majority of their ancestral lands. Yeah. Native children were often sent to boarding schools where they were prohibited from speaking their own language or practicing traditional customs. Do you see a pattern? Do you see a pattern? You know, I love when people like, my people never owned a slave. Okay, that's cool. But the system that was set up by some of y'all ancestors or your culture still oppress people today. J.P. Morgan actually, you know, would take niggas as collateral. If people are removed from their homeland, stripped of political sovereignty and pressured to abandon their culture, what is the appropriate historical term for that process? What's civilized? Tell me what's civilized. Redlining. What was it? Gerrymandering. What is that? Tell me what that is. Tell me what culture upholds that. Like, is it an interest of freedom? Because if you was in the military, people will tell you that freedom ain't free. Somebody got to die. But that's not called white on white crime. That's called war. You see the hypocrisy? You see what's going on? What was it? Redlining. Who was responsible? In the 1930s, the federal government, Homeowners Loan Corporation, created residential security maps. Neighborhoods were graded according to lending risk. Think about it. Areas with large Black populations were frequently outlined in red and labeled hazardous for investment. I mean, people used to go into the neighborhoods and be like, hey, sell your house quick. The niggas is coming. Your property value going to go down and we can't save you. The Federal Housing Administration and many banks adopted lending practices that favored white neighborhoods and restricted investment in Black communities. You ever seen the movie The Banker? Anybody ever seen The Banker? Okay. You see where this shit is going? It's a culture thing. And what I talk about is habitat, culture, ecosystem, and are we flourishing in a certain ecosystem or a certain habitat? Okay, lions are felines, tigers are also felines, don't exist in the same habitat. And what has that been for you culturally, Black people, in the culture of what we consider white society? And what has that been for everybody who has experienced this so-called white culture? We got to tell the truth. Who was adversely affected? African Americans were the primary targets. Many Latino, Asian immigrants, and some poor white communities were also negatively affected. Families in redline neighborhoods often struggled to obtain mortgages, business loans, and insurance. Property values and investment frequently lagged behind those in favored neighborhoods. See, the long-term effects is home ownership became one of the largest sources of wealth accumulation in the Americas. All right, so when I talk about the Delmar divide, you got one side, you got $1 million houses. This is something that goes on today. You can go, if you're in St. Louis, go look at Delmar, go on the side where you're going towards the hospital, look at those houses. They are valued way more than one street. One street divides the value. So I don't want to hear this shit like it was 100 years ago. It was 1,000 years ago. It was 400 years ago. I wouldn't give a fuck if it was 4 days ago. Is it happening? And whose culture is perpetuating this shit? The long-term effects. Home ownership became one of the largest sources of wealth accumulation in America. We know that. Many white families gained access to federally supported mortgages and suburban housing. Many black families were excluded from those opportunities. Scholars often point to redlining as a major contributor to the modern day racial wealth gap. So this racial wealth gap, like, why can't niggas just get it together? But we had communities that were flourishing during times of oppression specifically, and then urban renewal ran a motherfucking highway through that shit. Whose culture is that? Here's a question for you. And check this out. If government policy systemically restricted where people could live, borrow, and build wealth based largely upon race, should the resulting inequalities be viewed as individual failures or institutional outcomes? Okay. I know I'm going too deep. Is this too deep? All right, let me ask y'all this question real quick. Here's a broader question. When we examine Native American displacement, the Mexican-American War, and redlining, are we looking at an isolated historical event? Are these isolated historical events? Or are we looking at examples of how power has been used to acquire land, control resources, and determine who benefits from the opportunity in America? But everybody got an opportunity to benefit, right? We all the same, right? Oh my God, you guys are victims. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Hold on. In the 1900s, people were singing that shit. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome. Why are people saying we shall overcome someday? If shit is fair, if things make sense. And why do we as black people keep buying into this narrative that we all the same now? We the human race. It's only one race. It's the human race. That's true. That's a truism. But we don't live in the same ecosystem. Think about it. Run that clip.
I don't know where you're at in the UK. You're from India, so I don't really.
I'm not from India.
Oh, sorry, your parents are from India, so
I'm an American
you have
citizen.
your own states.
I'm an American, you know.
You're an American citizen?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. I don't know how you got that, but fair enough. Here's the thing.
Are you an American citizen?
Absolutely. But here's the thing.
Not sure how you got that.
Born here.
Okay.
Born here in my family lineage is settlers from the 1500s, so I have some stake in the claim here, okay?
But you're
a little different.
But you're a
than yours.
descendant of immigrants. Settlers.
I didn't know.
Colonialists.
Yeah,
You don't
colonials.
look very Native American to me.
I am Native American. Whites
not.
are Native Americans. What are you
Sorry,
talking about?
you're not.
What are you talking about?
You're
Whites are Native Americans.
Really?
I think
What was happening before the 1500s?
I think you're getting confused with it.
I don't mind going on a tangent. What was happening before the 1500s?
Calm down. I think you're getting.
What was happening before the 1500s?
There was indigenous people here that came here from
Do you know what
Asia.
indigenous means?
Listen.
Don't get mad at me. Hey, let's go to commercial.
This is Tammy from Tammy's Take, and you're watching Pyro Media Network.
is Pastor Kim from It's Just Kim Live Show, and you're watching Pyro Media Network.
Black mama still crying on TV. These young brothers still dying on TV. Crackers on the camera still lying on TV. 3% rappers might put it on the CD. And our leaders, most of them speechless. How you gonna preach when you ain't trying to reach it?
All right, y'all. It comes time for the rent cycle. This is the rent cycle. Now, when people start talking to black folks about morality, civility, and respectability, I can't help but ask a simple question. Who's doing the teaching? Like, for real, who's teaching about respectability, morality, and civility? If we look at culture, how do I learn civility from a system that was uncivilized toward different ethnic communities for centuries? Now, let's be clear about something, okay? I'm not arguing that every white person is immoral. I'm not arguing that every individual is responsible for the crimes of history. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm asking is whether institutions and cultures that benefited from conquest, colonization, slavery, and racial hierarchy should approach these conversations with a little bit more humility. Because when I hear moral defamation directed at black people, I can't help but remember who wrote many of the rules, who controlled many of the institutions, and who benefited from many of the injustices. If race is a social construct, then perhaps we should spend less time talking about race and more time talking about behavior, power, culture, and history, because history leaves fingerprints. And before you lecture somebody about morality, you should probably examine your own record first. So with that, good night, y'all. And please don't forget to take your life off spin cycle. Let's go into the book of the week before we leave. All right. Today's book of the week is The Delectable Negro by Vincent Woodard. The Delectable Negro goes into the thought processes that Eurocentric society has done to black people, how they've devoured our culture, not so much as cannibalism, but how our intellectual property gets devoured, our physical strength gets devoured, our talents gets devoured, and all those things in between. So The Delectable Negro takes a plunge into that by Vincent Woodard, right? So do yourself a favor. Grab that book. Educate your mind. Grab that book, The Delectable Negro. And by all means, y'all, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, follow, donate, do whatever you feel like you need to support this platform, because I like giving y'all the information. And with that, y'all, have a good night.
What up, everybody? This your boy KO. If you want to follow my content and see more of the interviews, you can follow me at IAMAKING Studios on Instagram, or the same thing on YouTube. Hey, you never know where I'm gonna pull up next. Get at your boy.
Thank you for watching Pyro Media Network. For more information, please visit pyromedianetwork.com.